How did Cambodia rebuild after the Khmer Rouge? Imagine a country emerging from the shadows of a brutal regime, where hope flickers like a candle in the dark. This was Cambodia after the Khmer Rouge, a time of immense struggle and resilience. After the Khmer Rouge fell in 1979, Cambodia faced a monumental task. The nation was left in ruins, with an estimated 1.7 to 3 million people having lost their lives. The rebuilding process was not just about physical structures. It involved reshaping the very fabric of society. The Vietnamese military intervention marked the end of the Khmer Rouge's reign. This led to the establishment of the People's Republic of Kampuchea, a socialist state closely aligned with Vietnam and the Soviet bloc. The new government aimed to restore order and rebuild the country's infrastructure, which had been devastated. Agriculture was central to this effort, as it was vital for the economy and the livelihoods of the rural population. The government focused on reviving rice production and other farming activities to combat widespread famine and economic collapse. Rebuilding basic institutions like education and healthcare was also a priority. However, this was challenging due to a severe shortage of trained personnel. Many professionals had either been killed or had fled during the Khmer Rouge period. The new regime emphasized socialist principles, promoting collective farming and state control over key sectors. This approach reflected a continuity with communist ideology but was adapted to meet the immediate needs of recovery. Politically, the new leadership portrayed itself as the liberator from the horrors of the Khmer Rouge. This narrative helped legitimize their authority but also created a culture that discouraged dissent. The government maintained tight control over information and political expression, which limited open discussions about the atrocities of the past. However, this control was seen as necessary to maintain stability during a fragile recovery phase. Internationally, Cambodia received support primarily from socialist countries that aligned with the new government's communist orientation. Over time, Cambodia began to open up more diplomatically and economically, especially after the Paris peace agreements in 1991. These agreements ended decades of conflict and led to United Nations-supervised elections. This marked a gradual shift from strict communist governance toward a more mixed political and economic system, although the ruling party retained strong centralized control. From a communist perspective, Cambodia's rebuilding after the Khmer Rouge was about restoring a socialist state. The new regime aimed to protect the rural masses and rebuild society on collectivist principles. They sought to overcome the devastation by re-establishing state-led economic planning and social organization. This process reflected both the continuity of communist influence and the pragmatic adaptations necessary for national recovery. In summary, Cambodia's journey after the Khmer Rouge involved restoring agriculture and infrastructure, re-establishing socialist governance, controlling political discourse for stability, and gradually reintegrating into the international community. Each step taken was a testament to the resilience of the Cambodian people and their determination to rebuild their nation.